Einstein was trying to frame this whole discussion in science, in physics. I mean, he had this, this theory about space-time.
Right.
Wasn't Bergson doing something entirely different, saying that this notion of time and the self, or duration is what he would say, this is outside of science. This is something, we're talking about an entirely different dimension of being here. Do I have that right?
Yeah, this is a common view of the situation, that there's things that philosophers are sort of entitled to talk about. We allow them to occupy that playground, and they can talk about meaning and about life and human experience. And then there's like the real stuff, more serious activity that is describing reality at the fundamental level using mathematics and physics. And this is not the way Bergson saw things. It didn't think in terms of, separate fields of activity or knowledge. He wanted to come up with a kind of a unified view of how everything hangs together. And what he reproached Einstein for was not so much that he was purely or merely a scientist, not interested in the other issues. He was reproaching Einstein for coming up with a rather inconsistent metaphysics. He was reproaching him of not being as consistent as he could be when he suggested this like overall metaphysical framework, and he wanted him to be as rigorous as he was as a physicist. So, and Bergson's view was that we should come up with this overall scheme of things and an overall worldview that allows science and these other dimensions, not only philosophy but religion, ethics, to cohere and to come together, not as separate fields of speciality or activity, but as a part of a continuum of human experience. But of course, this supposes that you don't take science as the ultimate court of appeal, or whatever you want to call it, maybe.
The ultimate perspective on what is real.
On what is real, right. And not even in the modest sense that it only lays out the groundwork, like the basic layer upon which everything can build up. This notion that reality is multi-layer in the sense that there is fundamental reality and then things emerging at different levels is also something that Bergson would not accept, because, for instance, he had sort of panpsychist proclivities, and he was interested in the notion that consciousness it doesn't reduce to what we experience as human selves, human beings, as being our consciousness, that it could actually more generally be distributed across those different layers of reality, including, why not, certain states of matter itself. So he was very open-minded about the fact that consciousness is not a defining trait or characteristic of the self, of the human self. That is, in fact, a more general property of everything that is subject to change, basically, has consciousness in the minimal sense that something of the past is retained. So even the capacity of course, an organism, but that's an easy example, but even in inorganic matter, the capacity of certain structure to reform, to be produced anew after you've destroyed everything, to him was this manifestation that there is some kind of inherent memory within the cosmic order. This is not entirely disconnected from what we experience as the faculty of memory.